What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us another week, the Reef Experience. I will get our guys in here. This week we're going to have Top Shelf Aquatics joining us. So welcome. Jay Carey, what's up? Sorry75, Kev Pro. How you guys doing? No, last week we didn't go live, but it was Thanksgiving, so we figured why not take the week off. Got questions in the building. Chef Parko, he's in here early. Guy owes me some money. Chef Parko, you gotta join. I need you to pay up live. Lewis, I've wanted to accept your request. I don't know if you see it. How's everybody else doing? Magic City Reefer, Dave's Reef, Caribbean Reefer, Jonathan's Reef. There's a lot of people joining. You like my wall? The wall is doing good. Not only do a wall, but I also have a stand now to hold stuff. So that works. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Not too bad at all. Let's see if we can get Lewis in here. Thanks for.
Okay.
All right. Prefix. There we go.
What is up?
Hey guys, welcome. Thank you.
Man, it was long overdue, man. It's we're what, 2 weeks now. We missed Thanksgiving, spent some good time with the family. So it's nice to be back with everybody. Another week, we're just an honor to have Top Shelf Aquatics here with us today, man. We appreciate y'all taking y'all time to, join our little movement here that we got going on.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. I actually sent out some requests, and I was like, trying to get some guys to join us. I really like what you guys do, and kind of what we've kind of developed over the past 20 weeks or so is we've had a lot of small companies come on and show off their products and show off what they do in the reefing hobby. Lewis sells a lot of corals. I've built a real nice, reef tank the past couple of weeks since we've been doing the live stream. So I thought it would be cool to have a different side of it from where I have a lot of companies that come in that make products. I thought it would be dope to have someone in that grows corals and sells corals. So
Especially in the scale that y'all do too. It's we've had the honor of having all types of businesses, a lot of small businesses and a few big businesses in here, including you guys, because you guys are far from small. So it's nice to have a different perspective of all this world we're in right now, because there's so much going on in this hobby and this industry and so many takes and stories to tell. So just to hear from y'all, it's going to be interesting. So I'm sure a lot of people are dying to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's nice. It's a pleasure to be on here. Yeah, I mean, I guess we do specialize in growing coral for sure. Our specialty has always been SPS for sure. But if you guys have ever watched any of our farm tours or anything, you guys know that we have a little bit of everything or a lot of everything, whichever way you want to put it. Yeah, it's been a busy 2 weeks. We're just coming off of three of our biggest sales of the year. We had a pre-Black Friday sale, we had Black Friday, and then Cyber Monday. So it's been pretty hectic around the farm and at the store. We're very blessed to say we broke records for our own records for the year before. I think right now we have over 500 orders pending to go out in the next 2 weeks alone. So it's going to be a hectic 2 weeks for us for sure. Everybody's coming in early, leaving late, you know, trying to get everything done. I know Dave. I saw Dave's Reef is in here. That's one of my coworkers. He's pretty much our logistics guy. So Dave has a lot of work labeling all the corals, ensuring everything is up to standard. You know, today alone, I think it was over close to 500 frags alone going out today, if not more. And Dave has to inspect every one of those, make sure they're up to our standards before they go out. So yeah, it gets a little intense.
Man, that's
Can you imagine having 500 orders going out, Louis?
Oh man, and you know what? He kind of kicked it off with a punch, because I'm sure that's a question that a lot of people were dying to know. Like, how much is a place like TSA pushing? You know, like as far as quantity, because it's just so impressive. And I mean, like Des was saying, I sell corals in a very small scale, you know, a home business. But even there, to like my fellow, you know, hobbyists that kind of do this, it's so hard. It's complicated. So to see it being done in such a scale, it's so it's mesmerizing, really, to say the least. Especially what you guys deal with, because you kicked it off with SPS. And a lot of a lot of conversation and questions today are probably going to be related around SPS. So to really be in depth in that zone is impressive, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of questions, you know, constantly about the SPS, how well it ships and everything. And I mean, luckily we've been doing it for so long that, not to brag, we've gotten pretty good at it, especially around this time of year. A lot of people worry with the weather, with the cold. I mean, every day get calls, emails. Hey, I live, you know, in Washington State. I live in North Dakota. My temperature is going to be, you know, 10 degrees. I mean, we even ship to Alaska, believe it or not.
Oh,
And I know we shipped to Alaska, I think, last month, and it was already in the negatives, I believe. So, I mean, it's just about taking your time, you know, really every single order that prints out has a temperature, a high and a low temperature. We always check the temperatures of the shipping hubs that the boxes are going to go through, because you have to plan for those things. So, you know, a box might be going to Southern California where the weather's beautiful, but if it's got to go through Memphis, Tennessee, and the weather's freezing there, you have to account for that. So you have to know, okay, do I need to put a heat pack there? Do I need to, if I do put a heat pack, do I need to insulate it so that it's slow heat over time? It's just a lot of little things that you have to think about. And I know a lot of a lot of the reviews we get, especially, is about our shipping. We see a lot of companies ship out with like very little water, and that's one thing we don't skimp out on. You know, we would rather overpack a coral than underpack it, for sure. We've had packages that get delayed 3 or 4 days, and they'll arrive to a customer, and the customer's shocked that all the pieces survived, or 90% of the pieces have survived. So yeah, I mean, we definitely take a lot of pride in our shipping standards. Like I said, that's a big shout out to Dave. Dave definitely puts in a lot of work there to make sure that everything ships out really well.
be, be,
That is definitely shout out to Saltfish TV. See, he's there in the comments. He's in Alaska. And
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
he said it's -30. I don't want any parts of that.
yeah, that's crazy. Shumi's Reef, what's up? One thing I wanted to ask, and just to kind of, before we go deep into like the details of Top Shelf, one, if you go back to some of our lives, something that we love to kind of kick it off with is kind of go lay the foundation to this convo by just giving us a little background on TSA itself, like the story. Like me and Des started this whole thing as our stories, you know, like my little venture, his venture, and we've brought people on that just broken down their ventures. Obviously your venture is long, so you're going to try to put it in a nutshell, and that's cool. But I mean, just, you know, TSA, kind of, where did it start? You know, what's the beginning of TSA?
So, I mean, just to let you guys a little bit about me. So my name's Ernesto. First of all, I didn't even say my name. My name's Ernesto. So I'm part of the online team at Top Shelf. So anytime you guys see a post on social media, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it be, 9 times out of 10, that's me doing it. If you email us, most of the time you're talking to me. Dave does help me out a lot with the emails too. If you call on the phone, you're talking to me. If you've ever been on one of our live sale threads or anything, I run the live sale thread, so that's where you'll find me. So a little bit, so going back to Top Shelf. So Top Shelf was started by three owners. You have Kevin, Alex, and Josh. And then now most recently you have Steven, who came over. He merged with Top Shelf from Reefers Direct originally. So Alex manages pretty much the store side of the thing, the retail side. Kevin, he manages the farm. He's pretty much the mastermind. If you guys ever see the crazy rockscapes that we build, if you see the farm arrays, everybody always asks about our PVC arrays and our SPS tanks and everything. That's all Kevin. He masterminds all that. And Steven, he's my direct boss. He manages the online department. Everybody calls him Scuba Steve. You guys probably see some funny memes and stuff made of him. So those are the three owners. Top Shelf's been open about 10 years, I believe. Been in the same location pretty much the whole time. They started with a retail location and a small farm attached directly next to it. If I don't know if any of you guys have ever been over there. The farm originally was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably about 6 to 8 tanks, I believe. And over time, it's been over like the course of the last 3 to 4 years, everything's been migrated over to the big farm, which is a couple hundred yards behind the retail store now. We have over 30,000 gallons of aquariums, massive tanks, QT room, full QT room now. We have a full frag room, a full, everything. It's the best way to look at it, really, is to look at one of our farm tours if you haven't been there. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where we're at. We've grown a lot over probably the last 2-3 years. We've really pushed online very hard. We strive to be one of the best online retailers. I know a lot of people, their main concern is ordering from an online retailer. You know, there's always hesitation. We pride ourselves in having some of the best photos in the industry to depict the coral, to make sure it is as you get it. Shout out to Bubba on our team. He's our photographer. If you see all our website pictures, a lot of our colony shots and everything, that's Bubba who shoots those. You know, probably I'm biased, but I would say hands down best photographer in the industry right now when it comes to coral accuracy, for sure. And then we have Durr, who's on our team, all our videos and stuff, whether it's a funny video, those are coral colony videos or everything. That's Durr who films all. His name is Steven too, but we call him Durr because we have a lot of Stevens at the store. So everybody's always like, who's Durr? I'm like, oh, that's Steven Durr. So yeah, he handles all our videos. And if we have our YouTube Coral Care series, he films those, edits all those for us and everything.
Can I stop you there for a second?
Yeah.
Speaking of YouTube, because the question, Mahina Corals, thanks for joining. He asked, will TSA be kicking more content? You guys are killing it. Can you maybe give us like what handles to find your content, just in case maybe they're just, you know, there's multiple platforms, or is there any plan?
Yeah, I mean, on YouTube, if you search Top Shelf Aquatics, we come right up. You should see our channel. Right now, we've been putting out a lot of, like I mentioned, our Coral Care series, where essentially we put out a couple videos a week, which we're eventually, the goal is to get through every type of coral out there. And they're also, if you go on our website, like for instance, if you're shopping for a torch, when you select the product and you scroll down, that video will be there. And it's just basic guidelines, you know, basic care requirements for the torch. I know some people are like, oh, I wish these were longer, but these are just quick videos that, you know, a customer can watch if they're just starting out to get an idea if a coral's right for them or not. But yes, we like at Top Shelf Aquatics on YouTube. We're Top Shelf Aquatics pretty much on all social media or anything like that. And we are going to be working on a lot more YouTube content next year. So definitely subscribe, check that out.
So before we actually came on here, I was telling Lewis, we talked on the phone. We usually, me and him have a little conversation on the phone usually before we go live, just so you know where we want to go. And I was sending him videos of TSA. So I was watching a lot of the videos, and I think it's really cool that you guys have you're starting to make those videos that they're specific to care requirements for certain type of corals, right?
Yep.
One other YouTube video or page, which is tidal gardens that I can think of that has that type of video, right? Where you can really see the coral. The explanation is good, it's quick, it's simple. And I thought that was really cool. I also went back and I watched all of your tour videos, right? 12-gallon reefer. I watched his videos. I watched the reef builder video. And I think it's kind of amazing when you're coming into work every day and you see all that water and all the corals. Is it not overwhelming, or do you get used to it? Like, how does that work?
It's really funny because every time we get people from out of state or anything like that, we're very open about showing people the farm and stuff. As long as we don't have construction or like a crazy ship day or something, we'll always let people go back to the farm and check it out. And it's a question that we get asked every day. They're like, "Oh my God!" They're like, "It must be like so overwhelming, like working here every day." And I mean, it's funny because once you're around it so long, you I I guess you get kind of jaded to it, so it's not the same effect, I'm sure, as somebody who sees it for the first time. But for the first time probably in my adult life, I can say that it's truly a pleasure, like going to work. You don't hate it. You wake up in the morning, even when you have a hard day ahead. It's always a good time. Like we're all very close. It's very much of like a family there. Especially over at the farm, because it's pretty much all of us together all day long, all year round. So everybody has their own personality. And it's cool seeing the corals every day. I mean, and there are times for sure when we'll get an acro colony that starts doing something crazy, and you get wowed by it. And it's still nice to, even though you're around it all day and you're around some of the rarest corals all day long, that you still have your moments of holy cow, that thing is awesome.
And I got another question. In regards to how many shipments are you guys receiving versus corals that you're growing that you're selling? Meaning importing, how many times a week are you guys getting boxes in and starting colonies over? Or is, for the most part, because just watching your videos, it seems like the majority of the SPS that you grow, you've been growing them for years. So do you guys really still get a lot of Indo shipments in of SPS, or is it more on the aquaculture side where you have so many that you're farming it already?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's nice to be able to say that we're probably 90% aquaculture at this point. Obviously, there's certain corals like trachees, eulobos, wilsones, things like the big meaty corals that just can't be propagated. You can't frag trachees, you can't frag scolies, things like that. So that's pretty much the majority of the shipments that we get now. And I mean, maybe once a month or something like that, if that. And I mean, it just depends. As far as acros go, it's pretty rare that we get an acro shipment at this point. Like I said, we have 30,000 gallons of tanks at the farm. They're chock full of SPS. So we're very lucky to be able to, rely pretty much on our farm at this point. And it's very strategically planned to where, when we get the call, if we have a colony, once it goes through full Q2 and everything, Kevin and the farm team, they'll chop it up. They'll start a colony in multiple tanks. That way, if we ever have a tank that's not doing too good, or if we end up losing one of the colonies, we try to always have backups of everything. It's all about redundancy, the stability, everything that we preach to our customers. It's kind of what we practice as well. You always want to have a backup plan for everything. All of our tanks are inspected every single day. Water's tested every single day. And yeah, I know during the Indo shutdown, a lot of companies were hurting, and we were very lucky because, like I said, 90% aquaculture, so we really weren't in short demand of coral. There was a couple things, like I said, the trachees, scolies, things like that maybe weren't coming in as much, but everything else, we were very lucky to still have our supply.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, even to be able to manage just the task, the feat of growing the coral in itself, right? For me, I think that's the thing that intrigues me the most about the coral. The idea that I'm going to buy a frag and that one day it's going to grow into a colony, right? And that in itself is such a task. So to be able to do it on such a scale is definitely a feat, especially something that's self-sustaining, to where you're growing it, fragging it, selling it, growing it, without having to bring in another set. That's pretty amazing, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and all that credit really goes to our farm team. I mean, those guys are nonstop all day long. 7 days a week. Like I said, even on weekends, somebody comes in, does tests on the tanks, make sure everything's good, daily inspections, nonstop. Where the farm is at a really good point right now where it's producing very well. All the colonies are growing very well. Coloration is doing great. A lot of trial and error. Again, all the credit to the farm team for everything they achieve on a daily basis. Like I said, we just came off of 3 huge sales. You're talking over 5,000 frags that they had to prep and get ready for these sales. Endless frag days, starting at
Imagine making 5,000 fries and selling.
yeah, I mean, they start 8 a.m. and I mean, sometimes, they're there 8, 9, 10 p.m. if they got to bang out a lot of frags. I know right before Black Friday, those weeks leading up to it, it was a lot of coral prep. And, you got to you got to start early because you got to give them time to heal and everything, especially for our retail customers. So yeah, it's a ton of work, and those guys do an amazing job every day.
Hey, we got some phenomenal questions that are just kind of being missed because we are not pressing the question button, guys. Guys, press the question button so it could pin the question down and we can catch it. Well, I do remember 2 of the questions and they were good, so I'm gonna ask them. Who names the corals? I thought that was a cool question, so I didn't want to miss that one.
We get that one a lot. I get that message on social media all the time. They're like, "Who names everything?" And it's really a group effort. We actually have a list app that we have where everybody, all the farm guys and the online guys, can contribute to that. If we think of a good name, a funny name, or something like that, you put it in there. And then if we ever have once an SPS colony is ready for release or something, excuse me, or anything new, we kind of go through the list and we try to find a name that's fitting for it, whether it be by the color, by the growth pattern, whatever it is. And we're known to have like our series of corals. Like we have our Ghostbusters pack, which is Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis. So you have all the Ghostbusters, the green Slimer. We have our Kevin wanted to do the hot pepper pack, so you have habanero, oh my Lord. Of course, why I'm drawing a blank right now. Yeah, but we have a bunch of spicy pepper corals.
A deeper question to that question. Who's the person that decides, or how do you guys decide that a coral hasn't been named yet? Meaning that you get something in and you look at it, and maybe you don't necessarily know what it's going to grow out to be. Do you guys that year name it, watch it, or how does that work?
So normally a coral doesn't get named till it's ready to be released. And when I say ready to be released, most of the time is if we either got it in from a mariculture, be it most of the time, if we ever do get maricultures, it's 6 months to a year before that coral will see the public. Because obviously, you get a lot of companies, and not to say that what they're doing is their business, but we don't like the practice of receiving in maricultures, chopping them up and selling them right away. Because a lot of times you get in these wild SPS colonies and they're not accustomed to our aquarium conditions, to our aquarium lighting. So you'll get a piece in. It looks absolutely amazing when it first hits the tank, and give it about a month and it just turns brown. So obviously, you see some people doing the chop shop thing where they'll get it in, they'll chop it up while the frags still look amazing. You send it out to your customer, and then in a month, the customer has just a brown stick. And then, you start getting these messages like, hey, I bought this. What are you guys doing different that I'm not doing, And it's not a pleasant conversation that I'm sure anybody wants to have with their customers. And again, a month might not be enough time to know if that coral is going to do well under our conditions. You'll start seeing RTN and things like that with these colonies. And again, nobody wants to buy a frag and then 2 weeks later it's terrible. It dies just because it's not yet accustomed to aquarium life. So if we ever get a piece in and we think it has potential, it'll stay in our tank 6 months, a year. I think we've had some that are even go longer than a year. And then once they start looking really nice, and we see the color, the end color, essentially what it's going to be like now that it's accustomed to aquarium life. Then at that point we'll determine, okay, we're going to release this. Let's pick a name for it. We'll go through the list. All the guys kind of decide.
how many different varieties of SPS do you think you have in the building?
Oh, I honestly couldn't even guess it. I mean, hundreds. We have a lot of colonies. I mean, you're talking just that I can count off the top of my head. There's over 20 tanks of 400 gallons plus each. Just chock full of colonies. Um, yeah, I mean, hundreds. There's no, even if I try, even if I probably sat there and counted for a whole week, I probably wouldn't get through counting all of the colonies.
That's crazy. Now, I got a question, and I guess the terminology to this specific type of hobbyist is called stickheads.
Yeah.
And stickheads, to me, thinking of Top Shelf Aquatics and you guys kind of really mastering in the SPS world, is the route to stickheads? Are the owners stickheads converted over to the business? Was it a business venture, or is the SPS dominance in the business more out of passion or out of just pure, something you guys decided out of business strategy to pursue?
I think that would be a question I would really have to ask Kevin. Like I said, he's the mastermind behind the farm, and I mean, Kevin is the brains behind the SPS for sure. He's it's incredible what he's accomplished growing everything at the farm, and our farm manager Corey, he's another. He's just amazing. Like his knowledge, what he knows is incredible, and he's so scientific about it. It's really funny because when he first came on the Top Shelf, it was you kind of had to learn to talk to Corey because he's so beyond what your average reefer is. Like he'll bust out the scientific name of every single coral at the farm, and it's insane. And sometimes you see him, like a customer would come to the farm and Corey would start talking to him, and we'd be like, oh my god, Corey's going to completely lose this guy, because we can't even keep up with him sometimes. Like he'll be like, oh, I guess this is the species, this genus, this, and like he's probably read almost every book about reefing. He knows all the old school reefers, all the techniques and everything. If he sees something wrong, he knows the treatment right away on how to do it. It's really incredible to see that. But I think we focus a lot on SPS. We enjoy the challenge of it. It's something that not everybody can do. Again, not to brag or anything, but it's something that you definitely have to master. It's a lot of trial and error, and I'll be the first to admit, sometimes we'll try something new and it does not go well. We'll lose a colony or something, and it's like, oh man, back to the drawing board.
Let's ask a question. What does try something new mean in the world of mass? I don't want to say mass producing because I think it's more than producing. You're actually growing it and sustaining it. But what is it? What does trying something new mean in your world versus say my world where I just have one tank and you have all of these other tanks?
Well, when I say try something new, it might not be something that we try across the whole farm. If we have a tank, like for instance, when the Gen 5 Radions came out, that was trying something new for us. We set up a tank that had some Gen 5 Radions over it because the majority of our farm is XR30 Pros Gen 4s. That's pretty much almost over every tank. Some of them are supplemented by T5s. Some of them are supplemented by metal halides. And then, anytime, we get a new light across that, we kind of want to test it out. So obviously it's a big commitment for us to throw new lights over something. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. So when the Gen 5s came out, there's always a bit of hesitation. Are they going to work as good as the Gen 4s? So you try that. If there's ever a new coral food or something like that, I know Benepets was something that is more recent to the hobby, and Kevin and the farm team decided to try it out, and Benepets has been working great for us. If any of the tanks are ever a little high on nutrients, we feed Benepets versus something like Reefroids, which is known to increase your nutrients. So things like that. If we ever do encounter, if we get a customer who trades something in and we notice that it has a pest or something on it, sometimes we'll try different treatments for those pests to see, what really works. You might see something come in that has flatworms, and Bayer might do a good job, or Coral RX is known to be a little more stressful on SPS, so we might not do that. I'm sorry.
You do the different. Do you guys do different stages of dips? Like would you do one stage with bear, one stage with something else?
So every colony, if we're getting a new colony or a new piece or anything like that, when it goes through QT, they all pretty much they get inspected, and then the farm team will determine if it has anything on it. And then there are different dips for, different pests or something that they know might work better on one thing versus another. But after it goes through its initial dip and then it starts going through the QT process and everything, it's pretty much the same treatment for all the pieces. It's literally every week it gets dipped, it goes back to a tank, and it goes through different stages. We have different tanks, different stages of QT in our QT room. You go through the first stage after first 2 months, then the next 2 months, then the next 2 months. But it's pretty much the same treatment: dip, inspect, dip, inspect, dip, inspect, over and over. It's a very tedious process.
Yep. With that, and like once again with like the SPS, a lot of people are looking for. I mean, I've seen a few questions already pop up on any tips or tricks or any care or any points like that. I'm sure you figured that question will come up. I'm sure I'm curious to hear anything you can share with customers, potential customers, future customers, and us. As far as the SPS in general.
Yeah, and that's something I get that message every day. What's the trick to do? What's the trick to maintaining SPS or growing it? And as much as people hate to hear it, it's stability. Like we're not doing anything special. We don't have magic water over there or anything like that. It's just about maintaining your parameters stable. And a lot of people ask us, "Oh, what do you guys keep your tanks at?" And it's on our website. All our colonies have all our tank parameters there, so everybody can see what we keep everything at. But honestly, we always tell people, don't chase our numbers, because our numbers are working great for us. But if your tank is doing great, and we keep our alk at 8.3, but you're keeping your alk at 8.7, and your corals are looking amazing, don't change your parameters to match ours because you think, oh, Top Shelf has amazing SPS, I need to do it exactly like them. That's never the case. It's just stability, good lighting, and good flow. Those are honestly the tricks. We don't dose anything crazy that anybody else doesn't dose. You have we use calc reactors at the farm. We dose 2-part. If we need to supplement, you have aqua vitro fuel is the aminos that we use at the farm. Aside from that, there's really nothing else. It's just about being diligent about your inspections. Test your water as needed, and make sure everything stays stable. Flow is very, very important though with the RSPS tanks. Everybody that comes to the farm is always amazed how many wave makers we have in the tanks. Like in probably our heavy SPS tanks, you're talking at least 6 to 8 wave makers per tank.
Sheesh.
Yeah, plus random flow generators on the return pumps. All our tanks are plumbed with a lot of return pumps, big return pumps, to generate as much flow as possible.
There was 2 questions. I'll start with the first one. What's your preferred salinity in your tanks?
0.25.
0.25.
Yeah.
Are you guys preparing water or ocean?
Yeah, no, yeah, we prepare water. We use a Red Sea Blue bucket.
Gotcha. Awesome. Great. I'm sure that was a question that will pop up. The next question was from the Pyre person. He says, the 20 tanks, are they all plumbed together into one system, or are they individual units as far as filtration?
No, so most of them are in clusters. So like we have different systems that are plumbed together. So when you walk into our farm, you'll have 3 of those 400 gallons, then another 3 of those 400 gallons, and so on and so forth. So individual systems, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have, I believe, 11 or 12 individual systems.
Wow.
Yeah.
And as you guys are venturing into, obviously you guys do a lot of different species. I'm actually owner of a handful of those, zoas and stuff like that I really, really love from y'all. Are you guys venturing deeper into those categories into the near future? Or are you guys trying to definitely, continue to dominate in the SPS side?
No, well, we for sure. I mean, we have a whole tank dedicated to zoas and softies and mushrooms. You know, we're always looking for cool new pieces to hit the hobby. You know, anything that we can grow and propagate. You know, if a customer comes in and trades in a zoa or something that we don't have, you know, we don't just turn around and sell it. It'll go to the farm, start the QT process so that we can start to grow it and propagate it. I mean, yeah, we have Zoas, torches. You know, our TSA Holy Grails are pretty well known. We always get demands for those. You know, any LPS, Euphilia, as everybody knows, is the hot ticket right now. So we have all kinds of hammers, torches, frog spawns, octos, things like that we grow in the farm and propagate as well. So yeah, I mean, it's not just SPS. Anybody who's visited our farm will know that we have, like I said, you could say a little bit of everything, but it's actually a lot of everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. How does it feel like? Was it mere coincidence that you guys ended up in the epicenter of what I would call like coral Candyland, which happens. You know, Orlando, Florida is so dense in the hobby and the culture, the events. Orlando's so dense. Was it just a mere coincidence that Orlando kind of ended up turning what it was into as far as this hobby, or was it something that was intentionally brought in?
Well, like I said, I mean, the owners, so Alex and Kevin were the ones who started mainly the store there. Kevin's originally from up north, but Alex grew up in Florida around this area. Alex went to
Got it.
school here in Central Florida and everything. So when they started the business together, I'm sure it seemed logical to stay near home.
Makes sense.
Someone asked a great question. Reefing Ain't Easy asked a question. He said, what is their backup system like? Generators? So you're in Florida. I just moved from Florida. I
Hmm.
moved from Miami all the way to Atlanta, Georgia. It's cold outside. You say I got a sweater on? I don't
So
like it. Um,
hurricanes.
but what is your, how do you guys prepare for a hurricane with that much water and that much coral and fish and everything?
So obviously, you know, if we the good thing about hurricanes, it's not like tornadoes that can hit from one second to another. For the most part, you know when a hurricane's coming. You know, it's not going to creep up on you. You know, you normally get a week, at least a week, if not, you know, 2 3 weeks of notice that it's on the way. So yeah, you know, as we know that once we know it's approaching, you know, the guys obviously make sure that the water vats are completely full, so that you know if we need to do massive water changes, we can do that. And the farm now has a full Generac system. So if the power does go out, you know, we can power the farm. We can fully power the farm for days. I'm not sure what the longest run time is on the generator, but it's quite a while.
That's crazy.
You got to put all that diesel in it. My restaurant went out in a hurricane and they just
Yeah,
in diesel, diesel, diesel.
yeah. I mean, it's a massive generator. I mean, I would say. I mean, I drive a truck, and it's probably bigger than my truck.
That's nice. I mean, my goal for my tank is long term. I want to fill it up with SPS, right?
Hmm.
Um, always been my goal to grow frags into colonies. Um, something kind of cool that you guys do is you guys made the scape out of the PVC, and I know a lot of people have seen it online, seen it in the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Um, but over the years, and watching other people's YouTube videos, and you see that coraline kind of grow over it, you see the colors of the tank growing over it. You really don't even notice it, and it's something different that no one else has. How beneficial do you think that is to those SPS systems?
So we do it because it makes it easy for our farm staff to work with a coral. So all those PVC arrays, essentially, you know, you have the whole array. They're all spaced out so that the colonies can have enough room to grow. But the one of the main purposes is that the essentially they're think of it kind of like a frag plug, but it's PVC. So it just slips into a PVC joint. So if a colony ever needs to be inspected or fragged, it's really easy to just pop it out of that PVC joint, and they can move them around as needed. It's really easy to work with them to inspect them if they need to, as opposed to people who grow their SPS directly on a rock. Because, you know, once it's on a rock and you have, you know, 5, 10, 20 colonies on that one rock, you can't just pick up that giant rock and pull it out just to work on one colony. So the arrays make it really easy for the farm guys to be able to work with all those colonies. And it's also nice because it's all the colonies are elevated, so we can blast flow underneath them, not just above them. I think that's one of the things that definitely helps us a lot, is that the colonies are getting flow everywhere. It's not just dead from the bottom.
It's pretty dope.
Chef Pancero asked, "What are your parameters?" He already answered that. There's details on the website on what parameters are on what tank, so check that out. But that was a two-part to that question, which that is a good question. And do you guys do water changes often?
Yes.
Are you
Yeah.
guys very pro water change?
Yep, we do about 20% weekly on the farm. So as you can imagine, it's a lot of water.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I mean, we all obviously offer our 2 cents and have like different way of doing things, and and all many very good ways of doing it. But I'm big on weekly water changes. So it's nice to hear it from, somebody like y'all, just reassuring that it is a good method. And I've heard it from several very,
Can I ask you a question?
trustworthy people.
How
But
do you guys do the actual water changes? Is it automated, or is someone walking around with buckets?
So you have not buckets, but you have they're giant brute trash cans essentially that we have set up with wheels on, heavy duty rollers and everything. So the water gets drained out. And at this point, really they only use the brute trash cans on the smaller tanks. We have giant hoses that run to our water mixing system. So essentially, it's just one hose in to drain, one hose back in, one hose out. Oh, sorry, one hose in to drain, then one hose back in to refill the tanks. But yeah, I mean, it's all one big system. You just turn a couple valves and puts out the salt water. So it's not too bad. And I mean, the good thing is also when they do the water changes, the tanks get siphoned out for any extra detritus or any buildup like that.
that's awesome.
How much do you have at home?
So at home, I've gone through a lot of tanks. At home right now, my current tank is a Innovative Marine 50 Lagoon. It's funny, I'm actually in the process of looking for a house right now. My next tank will probably be a 200 to 300, but I've had tanks all the way from 10 gallons to 180 gallons. Being in this for so long, after a while, you kind of get bored with one tank, not because it's bad or ugly or anything, but you're just kind of like, man, I want to try something new and different. At one point, like my obsession was high-end anemones, so I set up systems just for Colorado sunburst, just for Chicago sunburst. I've gone through LPS. So then sometimes I'm like, man, I just want to do an all high-end acro tank, so I'll do that for a while. I'm very, my coworkers will sometimes be like, I'll be like, oh, I'm tearing down the tank. Does anybody want this? And they're like, well, your tank's doing great. Why are you tearing it down? And I'm just like, oh, I just want to try something new. So yeah, right now it's a 50. I have a 50 Lagoon that's running, but yeah, as soon as my fiance and I get in our house, I definitely want to do something big. Haven't decided what I'm gonna stock it with yet or anything, but we'll see where we'll figure that out when we get there.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Actually, I went from what did I have? I had the 25 Innovative Marine Lagoon, and I went to the 150.
Yeah.
Big jump.
Almost 2 months in, right? And I've always been a fan of nano tanks, smaller tanks. And now that I have this big tank, and it's only been a month and a half, going on 2 months, I just feel like it's so much easier. I mean, it's bigger, so I do need more stuff.
Yep.
But just having that water volume, I can kind of see how I'm affecting it and not affecting it at the same time. Versus when I had nano tanks, everything I did affected it. You know what I'm saying? My alk is a lot more stable. My pH is stable. My temperatures are stable. My nutrients is, you know what I mean? I just feel like having all that water, how this bigger is better, is definitely, it's a real thing, and I didn't believe it before.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, it's literally science. I mean, the more water volume you have, the easier it is to mitigate swings and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, when you have a 10-gallon versus a 200-gallon, if you have an alk swing, it would have to swing over 200 gallons versus 10 gallons, which is very quick and drastic. And yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like I said, I've had all kinds of tanks. And at one point, when I got my first Colorado sunburst anemone, I had one tank set up at the time, but I had black widows in it. And as most people know, I mean, for the most part, I can't speak for all people because there have been people who have successfully mixed a Colorado sunburst with a different type of anemone, but it wasn't a gamble that I was prepared to do at the time. So the guy who I got my Colorado sunburst from, he kind of messaged me and he's like, hey, he's like, you got to get your Colorado. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have a tank set up. So I literally set up a 10-gallon Nuvo, power cycled it over the course of 5 days, and was like, you know what, we're just going to throw this $1,200 anemone in it and pray that it survives. And everybody told me I was crazy, and it did great. I mean, it grew into a monster. And yeah, that was one of those situations that I was like, do as I say, not as I do, because yeah, that was a gamble. But yeah, big tanks are definitely, you have much more peace of mind with a big tank because you're not going to get, a temp swing is much less drastic on a big tank than it is on a small tank. Alk swings, salinity swings, all those things. Big tanks are much easier to manage. But like you said, it does require a lot more equipment.
Stuff. I will say, and it's not necessarily that you need more stuff. You just need everything has to be bigger.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see some stuff and you're like, damn, this is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for sure, the initial.
Right here.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I was looking at your wall of equipment there.
It takes a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the initial cost of setting up a big system, of course, is much more expensive than, what setting up a nano tank is. But, in the long run, we always tell people, look at it as an investment. It's going to make your reefing life much easier. Because, you get people with nano tanks, and it's discouraging that first time that you have a salinity swing or an alk swing, and, that coral that you just spent, $50, $100, up to $1,000 when it dies on you, and you're like, oh my God, do I really want to continue to do this? I mean, we've all been there. So yeah, I mean, big tanks do offer a peace of mind for sure.
Absolutely. Do you guys keep a lot of, what do you guys sell more, big tanks or little tanks?
I mean, I would say volume-wise, I would have to say probably smaller tanks, just because it's much easier for somebody to walk into your store and drop $300 to $500 versus, setting up a 300-gallon system where you have to invest, $5,000 to $10,000.
And a lot of the thought process too, because spacing and you don't have to spend as much on a big, small tank versus big tank. So.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, but that being said, we do a lot of custom builds. I mean, we do have customers that come in regularly and they're like, hey, I want to build my dream system. And, we do massive tanks. We do commercial, for companies, we do them residential, everything. Our guys were 2 nights ago, they were working till like midnight or 1 a.m. setting up a lobster display tank for a restaurant. So that was kind of something unique that we don't get every day. We have, I think we have a 600-gallon that's coming up to be installed. Yeah, we do a little bit of everything.
On the Red Sea 1000 that you guys have going on, up as an LPS tank. Something I saw that was actually really cool is he was explaining the tiered sand.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for weeks. And then I seen someone else say it. I did my sand tiered, where I did more sand in the back to give it height. And I have almost some glass spots in the front of mine now. But I still got the height and I still have the sand, and I was able to make caves just with the sand alone. And I thought that was pretty dope that you guys did that in one of your tanks.
Yeah, again, that's a Kevin mastermind right there. So he designed that rockscape really good. If you go back through our pictures and our videos on Instagram, I believe, I think I did a couple of pictures of it when there was no sand in it yet. So if you look at that rockscape, it actually has a base, like a massive base, so that when he put the sand in there, a part of the sand would be elevated versus, it would have different levels of it. So he really thought that out. It's kind of ingenious how he thought it out. And you know, a lot of people were like, you know, when he put that rockscape in, they're like, man, it's really low. But you know, once you start putting that euphilia in there and they start growing up, and you know, eventually, probably about after a year, when that tank's really stable, when we get to the point where we're going to start putting SPS colonies, a lot of people don't think that those colonies are going to grow up. So you know, everybody builds their rockscapes and they're like, oh, I want it, you know, a couple inches from the water's edge. It looks really cool. Yeah, that's fine and dandy, but you know, when you start getting these colonies and they start growing out of the water, what are you doing then?
Makes total sense. Yeah, and I got a question. This was kind of on my question list for, and not necessarily just TSA, but you yourself, kind of being in the online world, and you know the online world is so content dense in the marketing and all that. Me and Des, we deal with some reef chat rooms, and a lot of topics and conversations come up in our personal chat rooms. And one of the topics that was brought up was kind of, you
Cheers.
know, industry. Oh,
Weekly,
cheers. Just, you know, like the influence from, you know, certain factors, like movies, from, like, you know, like Nemo bringing in so much into the hobby and so many new hobbyists and reefers. And in my head, I'm constantly admiring like the Disney themes and the SeaWorld themes and just how they beautify these tanks and stuff like that. In your opinion, I guess, is more than anything, do you guys really feel a lot of impact from being so in the area where it just brings out so much of that life? Do you guys really feel the warmth, I guess, from having like Disney World and SeaWorld down the street from you guys?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, you get a lot of families that come in, and it's funny. They come to vacation, and I'll get a message, and they'll be like, "Hey, we're coming to Disney, and we want to come by and visit the farm too." They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do Disney, Universal, and TSA." It's kind of the lineup, and it's funny because yes, I mean, you always get the kids and the families that come into the store. You know, they see the clownfish, they see the hippo tangs, and it's Nemo and Dory, and
Of
you know,
course.
every little thing. I mean, of course, we see those references all the time. And you know, we are very lucky to have those parks and stuff around, and we have some really cool aquariums in the area. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure people go visit those places, and they're like, man, you know, I would love to do this in my home. Obviously, not to the scale of SeaWorld or anything like that. But I'm sure, yes, it is a lot of our local customers, I'm sure, have come as a way from that. You know, you go to Disney, you go to SeaWorld or Sea Life Aquarium in Orlando, and you know, they come in because they saw this there and they really want that in their home. And yeah, I mean, it's cool. And I mean, it's cool what those companies do for our hobby, because you know, I'm sure indirectly their plan isn't, hey, I want to give Top Shelf more business, but you know, at the end of the day, it's nice to have that. And because it's just another connection that families can have to their aquariums. You know,
Yeah,
I'm sure every parent wants their kid, you know, to love their hobby, and hey, you know, come look at Nemo, come look at Dory, and you
of
know,
course.
it's a peaceful hobby. And I mean, we have parents that tell us, yeah, I mean, my kid will sit there and just stare at the tank forever. You know, so yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's something that brings families together, and it's nice that those companies and those places have that influence on our hobby.
Yeah, is there any partnerships like within you or any of these you know, or parks or aquariums and stuff? Like, can we find any of TSA corals and any of those reefs or aquariums out there in theme parks and stuff like that?
So not in the theme. Honestly, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. That would probably be a question that I would have to ask Alex, the owner who runs more of the retail side, because he deals with more of the public companies.
All right, so I have a great idea, right? Internet manager, right? So you're in charge of all internets of TSA, right? You have to reach out to these people. You have to send the greatest frag pack to SeaWorld there is.
Well, you know, it's funny. Aquariums like that, a lot of times they'll focus more on like showcasing corals that are native to Florida and things like that. A lot of these public aquariums and stuff aren't equipped to grow like high-end SPS and stuff like that, like we are. You know, their lighting, that's why a lot of times you go to these places and their aquariums are a lot of softies and things like that, because it's just something that are nice tank fillers that look really pretty, but you know, it's not as much maintenance because like I said, you know, to maintain our tanks, we have a full farm team every day, 365 a year, have, you know, a lot of fish and livestock that would not do well with coral. You know, you always see the big beautiful angel fish and you know, all these fish that would just devour a lot of coral. So I think in that sense that they're not as equipped for the type of corals that we focus on. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sure it would be cool to say, yeah, hey, you know, if you go to SeaWorld, you'll see this specific TSA piece there.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really appreciate you guys having you guys on. I mean, I've had you on for like an hour almost already.
Yeah.
All of your, but we definitely appreciate having you on. What would you say do you think is the biggest tip you would give as someone that works in TSA? To just a general reefing community, just in regards to keeping tanks and to growing SPS, just overall, what do you think the most important thing is?
I mean, like I said, everybody hates to hear it, but stability is key. And I think one of the biggest things and biggest mistakes a lot of people make is that they overthink this hobby. You know, we get customers that are like, oh my God, I'm testing every single day. I'm moving my pieces around every single day. They're not looking good. Yeah, you know, it was hours and I ran this test over and over. And, you know, my number was different by 0.01 and this and that. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. If you keep your hands out of your tank, you know, let it do its thing. You know, changes most of the time, you know, if you notice a slight change, it might bounce back in a couple days, but a lot of people will see, you know, the polyps aren't out that much one day. So they'll get their hands in there and they'll try to move the coral to a different place. And, you know, corals, just like anything, they're animals. They have a personality, you know, maybe that day it's having a bad day. It doesn't feel like putting the polyps out. Don't go and mess around with your tank. So yeah, I mean, I think don't overthink the hobby is probably one of the biggest tips that I can tell people, because you always find that our customers that are constantly messing with their tanks are the ones that are constantly having issues.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Little
Well,
switch before he goes.
well, thank you so much. We appreciate having you on. Really, it's an honor once again to have Top Shelf and yourself taking the time to, you know, join us. We look forward to having y'all again. You know, if you guys you guys said you had some sales and stuff going on. If you definitely want to, you know, repeat it before we have some new participants before you start, but give us some heads up on where to find the product, you know, what deals to look for, and anything you want to share with the group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cooking for Christmas.
So I mean, right now, like I said, we're trying to just get through these last 2 weeks of sales. We actually, I mean, we had such a great response to our Cyber Monday sale that Steven, our manager, was just like, hey, you know what, we're gonna run Cyber Monday all the way till this Sunday. So yeah, I mean, if you go to our website, topshelfaquatics.com, the coupon code Cyber10 will still get you a discount on your order all the way up until Sunday. You know, we haven't even discussed our what we're going to do for Christmas or New Year's yet. I'm sure we'll cook up something. Just make sure you're following our social media. That's always where we post about the sales first. But yeah, you know, we look forward to talking to you guys again. If you guys ever want to do something a little earlier, when we're still at the farm, you know, we can give you guys a farm tour, show you guys around all the tanks. All your viewers can see essentially our operation.
We'll definitely hold you to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks again for joining, man. Talk to you
Yeah, guys.
soon.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
That was awesome, Des.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good times. That was a great convo. I mean, I've been dying to kind of talk to these companies and kind of pick their brains on some of these things. And he did. He answered all the questions, you know, without a skip, you know, so I think it was a good one for sure.
So let me ask you a question. What do you think, as a person that has the similar idea but on a smaller scale? could you see yourself going from where you're at today to where you see, 5 years from now? You have 30,000 gallons of water worth of coral selling every day. What do you think?
Um, the question
Is it
is
not,
that it.
not in your house? It's in a farm,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, I get it. It's a two-sided answer because I I can't. I know I'm in a position and in like a mental state where I know I can do it, but do I want to do it? You know what I mean? Like, because I know the load that comes behind that and the responsibilities that come behind that to do it successfully to the degree that those guys are doing it. You know what I mean? Mr. Abu in the building. The one and only.
Ooh,
um,
so since you're here, right, we got to start it off live because you joined the live, right?
yeah.
Earlier today, I was talking to Mr. Lewis, and we were talking, and I said, I used you as an example. Do you want to hear what your of the week was?
What kind of example you use me as?
This guy posted a picture of the two dolphins over the tank and got 500 likes.
Who did? Me?
Out of the two dolphins, and you
Yo,
like,
My auntie sent me them.
yo, he sipped the tea on you, bro.
Auntie sent
He sipped the tea on you.
He said the tea on me?
No, I'm saying you sipped the tea on Dez.
this guy two dolphins.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's dude, you get so much traction, man. It's just your content's crazy though. I'm gonna tell you. I would be curious to hear like TSA's like thoughts on like that tank, you know? like those guys, like so impressive, dude.
No, man, they don't like my tank, man.
Yeah, bro.
I told you you were supposed to send your while we were live, so that way you can join us because one of the tanks that they're building for TSA is going to be an all LPS tank. So if they would have saw the tank, they would have got inspired and they would have said, "Damn, we want to be like him."
The boys got all kinds of tanks.
Nah, they're really good though. I like that. Yes, man. That's what they do.
They got healthy corals, man. Just like he said, they not a chop shop. So usually when you get an acro from them, it's well encrusted, and like he said, they know what they doing, man.
Yeah, and you know about that chop shop thing, man. And me and Abu, we've talked about this a million times behind the scenes and stuff like that. But it's just such risky business, especially.
Who's that, Mr. Miyagi?
Look at the roof. Hold on, wait. Let's
Is that
just
Mr.
see the
Miyagi?
roof of where he is.
Huh.
Mr. Miyagi. Oh Lord, we got the whole gang here. Geesh, it's a problem. Is that is that Coral King?
Yo,
Yes.
what's up?
What's up, Coral King?
Good, man. It's been a while since I've seen you guys on.
I know, man. Thanksgiving kind of caught in between. We decided to take a week off and spend it with the family. I mean, we were going back to back to back to back to back. We didn't miss. We plan to keep going back to back to back, but we can use a break once in a while.
Right.
Yeah,
Shit,
dude.
Yeah.
It was good to kind of have a little break though. It felt weird.
It did. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I knew we'd come back with bangers, man. And Top Shelf Aquatic was a nice way to come back. And me and Des, when we were talking behind the scenes, and what helped me out a lot was Coral King. He also had done a tour out there like a few days ago, and I was on it and I was asking questions and shit like that. So coincidentally, it all worked out perfectly, because I was already kind of like in my head, like really kind of preparing like my thoughts and questions as Coral King was kind of touring and stuff like that in case the day presents itself that we had to go live with them,
Right. Oh, bro, now you got to get Now you got to get a couple of different vendors. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's the plan. That's the plan.
Right here, he could put you in with Worldwide Coral.
That's what I told him. You know
Oh
me, I'm not fast. You gotta use your resources.
yeah.
I'm not a reach
Don't.
out. Listen. I sent Worldwide Corals a DM.
Hey, hey, big head.
But
He sent them the hey, big head.
top
Oh,
shelf, right?
you said
It's
big.
just so.
That you said hey big.
Yeah,
Huh?
Dad sent him the hey, big head.
Oh shit! You said,
Hey, big. I need that. Bulk resupply too. I need Randy. I don't need. I mean, I'll get Ryan if we can get Ryan.
you gotta get Randy on smoking though.
Huh?
You got Brian and come out here smoking.
Now, Ryan.
Oh, do like Elon Musk. Abu's trying to get him on the Elon Musk shit, man.
But
The
yeah,
Joe Rogan, this.
favorite man now.
Listen, Ryan, Randy, and they give me coupon code. Split. We're
Yeah.
all rich forever.
Hey, so I told Coral King also today earlier that I wanted him to jump on because I saw him working on all these fish, and I was like, "What's he up to now?" Like, so
Right.
what's the game plan here? Like, is it like a checkup thing? Are you sending them to the doctor? Like for
Basically, it's that. And you want to see something crazy?
Yeah,
Here we got a Interruptus Angel.
Oh my gosh, look at that, Des. Jeez, Abu.
I don't
All right.
want to tell
Something.
him
Don't look, Abu.
Hold
Don't
on, wait.
look.
Talk about it real quick.
how much is it?
Store on my birthday, and I bought a lemon peel angel.
You're a trip.
Hey,
It picks at everything in the tank.
no.
Oh my God, I'm never getting it out of there.
You're a trip, bro. And he's hard to go in the fish trap too. That angel.
So I want to say before you put it in there, just be aware.
Right. You know, it took me and Elliot from Marine Collectors a whole day to get all the fish out.
And you have them all in quarantine? Is this the dorm? Is this your house or the dorm?
Oh, this is my place right now. But yeah, all the fish are gone. I put 100 Aptasia eating foul fish in here.
A what? You put
100, literally 100 Aptasia eating foul fish. Like, you see these jars? 100 of them. I'm just letting them go free and just deal with all the problems.
Brought the 100-pack for.
Well, hold on, wait. You know they're gonna nip at some of the corals.
Which ones? The Aptasia eating foul fish?
Yes,
They nip corals?
facts.
You
100.
said you got the fish or the nudibranchs?
The nudibranchs.
Yeah, that he don't got the fish.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the file fish.
Oh no, you see them in the jars? Like 100 of them.
Okay, I thought you said you got 100 file fish. I was
Oh
like,
no. Those guys,
Yeah,
those guys I took out already. Put over there.
okay.
Bro,
I was worried.
Yeah, no, I just got a bad Aptasia problem. So we took out all the fish. He's gonna just check on them since they're like super rare, and then during that time, I'm just gonna wipe out all the Aptasia from the tank.
Mm. Did it?
I know. Oh yeah, you did put that. You put that rest in the apartment or at the house?
Yeah, at the house. So I had to get all that fish out.
Yeah, so once you put that rest in there, he gonna be hitting them bitches.
Wait,
Yep.
why you take the fish out so they don't eat the nudibranchs?
Yep, exactly.
But what made you think the fish were gonna eat them?
I put them in there before. They just ate them right in front of my face. They also ate the peppermint shrimps. They ate nudibranchs. They ate everything, you know. So this is like the one time I could just take out all the fish and just deal with all the Aptasia in one go.
But aren't these all of your super expensive fish?
Yep, that's why I gave it to Marine Collectors because he's like the rare fish guy. So I'm just gonna let him deal with all of that.
So all the fish flew back to Cali?
They're in the trunk of my car, just sitting in the garage. All of them. I gotta go to the airport at 4 a.m. to drop it off at cargo.
Wait, hold on, wait. So let's just be clear. You got Aptasia.
Right.
Bronx. So you took out all the fish and you're not gonna ship.
Hey.
Yep, it's in here.
Hey.
Fish going the same person they came from. Look, Des, when you spend money like that, bro, them boys watch your help you catch the fish and everything, man.
All the fish, the Katayamai, mass angelfish, all of them, all in these boxes in the garage.
He buys COT tank and everything. Come down there for you, Diz. Shit.
But what? But when's the fish's flight? This is what I'm trying to understand. Where's the plane ticket? When do these fish leave?
And
4 a.m. I gotta wake up at 3 a.m. tonight and then drive to the airport
so then
and
ain't
get there by 4.
no point of going to sleep.
Yep, I'm gonna be up all night.
Flight.
So I'm just gonna work on my tank all night, literally. That's what I've been doing.
So
And the fish get there by 10 a.m.
Yep, by noon, and then Ellie's gonna pick it up in California, and he's gonna re-quarantine them and just check on them for me while I just deal with my tank.
all right, like there's a lot of new viewers out here. There's probably a lot of people that maybe don't know or haven't joined the past experiences. But Coral King, he's a resident guest of the room, so most of you that are in here know the story. But give us a breakdown of how much is in those boxes.
All right, we got
in fish.
Easy, easy 100. Is
I
that
think just 3 fish already adds up to like 100,000. You know, and I got 13 fish in here
Wait.
at least.
Wait, stop. Hold on, wait. Word.
Yo, say that again for the people
Oh,
in
yeah.
the back of the room.
Oh, we're trying to kill the Aptasia, though.
That's what you do when your money right, player.
Jesus.
Right. I just gotta deal with all that Aptasia, so I gotta take the extreme route and cargo it all off. I think it was like $500 just to go to cargo and just ship all these fish out.
Plus, you tore your tank up trying to do it too.
Yep, exactly. So it was like a lot, but hopefully the 100 Aptasia eating nudibranchs, I'll just deal with the whole issue. I also want to get the blue velvet nudibranchs too, and
Look,
just deal with flatworms.
Look what I did about a week ago.
Wait, guys, I have real questions.
Hold on, chill.
Why didn't you just buy like a couple 40-gallon breeders, put some water in it, and put the fish in there?
Man, you crazy? You want to put $100,000 fish in the 40 breeder? That means I'm gonna put that next to me in the bed with the aerator.
Guys, if the guy from California comes and gets it, that's different. He's got a garage.
The thing that I'm telling you is, though, I've been having the same problem with Aptasia. Every time I get a copper bands, most of the time, and then start picking at the coral, or the copper band just died. But I got 8 peppermint shrimp, bro, the other day from the LFS.
Listen, why don't you just take it to the airport right now?
I can't. It's scheduled for 4 o'clock, so I gotta wait for 4.
Oh my god.
And what's it called? Yeah, I mean, peppermint shrimps, I tried to put them in there. They wouldn't even land on the floor. The fish would just eat them before they could even land on the sand bed.
Who packaged the box? You?
Yeah, me and Elliot, the guy from Cali.
Dude, and you...
Wait. So the guy from the fish team did this with you?
Yeah, he flew over just to help me pack all the fish and fly back. He flew back the same day. Flew in this morning. We got the fish, packed it, flew back.
I just need a clarification of the whole process.
Bro, you didn't watch from the start?
Huh?
Didn't watch from the start? When you start purchasing the fish from them, they start hand delivering?
I know where the fish came from, but I didn't realize.
When you sell a 30 or 20 or 15 or $3 $15,000 fishes.
So what is that call like? Do you call them and you're like,
you fly them to wherever they need to go. You know, if Coral King was in, I don't care where he was, bro. He could have been in the next country. That man flying to him, bro, to the next country. You know what I'm saying?
So wait. I just want to be clear. You called them and you were like, yo, I got Aptasia.
Listen, Aptasia's so bad.
Like options. Wait.
But the thing,
all of the options to kill Aptasia, this was the one that said, you know what?
This is it.
You know what I'm gonna do? This is what I'm gonna do.
Take all the fish out, ship it to Cali.
Aptasia.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's so bad because it's just been slowly stinging all my acan. Because I have a huge acan garden. I've been seeing heads pop up and just stinging them. I was like, and then when I use Joe's Juice or Aptasia, it just creates more, unless you really kill it right there. So
Pasto garden is looking right now. That's why I moved them bitches, bro. I done lost like 3, 4, 5 pieces they got covered in them. Being laid.
Exactly. So I couldn't take it anymore. I can't keep losing corals. So I was like,
No, bro,
Well, hey,
my son project, he had a science project and he picked the reef tank, bro. And I went to give him a piece of dead coral out the graveyard. Man, I started looking at the graveyard, bro. I got sick. I
mm-hmm.
got sick, sick.
I don't know, man. I mean, I feel.
I'm about, I'm about to show y'all the grave.
yeah,
I'm about to
There's
show
well,
no way.
I'm gonna tell you.
This is
I don't want to be negative about the whole situation, but there's just no way I would fly those fish back to California. No,
man, yo,
there's no fucking way.
Dude,
There's
well, when
no.
you got
dude,
when
it
you're losing
sounds
expensive
badass.
weekends,
I would totally
bro.
do it.
This
That sounds
I'm about
good
to
as
show
shit.
y'all. I'm about to show y'all. This is beside the stuff that I threw away. You know, like if a torch die and it stink, brown jelly. What? This is beside the stuff that I threw away, bro. Look at this shit.
Ooh,
Well, hold on. That's nothing. The Acro is the cheapest one, bro. I started. Look. A Cantho,
Ugh.
Scully,
Right.
Lobo, Scully,
I think you're missing.
Scully.
I think you're missing the point. What we're
This is
talking about.
all I see,
Another
too.
Acantho. Bro, I can go for days, bro. Another Lobo. Look, another Acantho. Easy, I got 4 dead Acanthos and one sitting by the barbecue grill in the back. Look, another Scully.
It ain't all roses.
No, this
Yeah.
ain't no like,
Does this
bro.
mean that you suck or no?
Huh?
Does it mean that you suck?
No, it's not that I suck. It's that I hit a hiccup before. You know what I'm saying? I hit a
What you
hiccup
got all
before.
that gas for, bro? What's all that?
Oh shit! The gas is from when I
He
had.
said, "Oh shit!" Like if you showed something crazy.
Nah, I didn't. But nah, that's for the generator, bro. I got a lot of gas.
Hey,
Don't
but
forget, I survived that storm. Now, hey, most people done gave up all around in my neighborhood, in my areas, and in my cities and shit when that hurricane came around. I'm one of the ones that kept it alive. It was a sad story when Ida came around here.
Hey, what's up, Kel? What's going on, Team
I,
Milk?
I'm
Hey,
sticking with. I think it's kind of crazy to fly the fish back to California, back to you.
Yeah, it's a lot, but I don't know. He's the only one I really, really trust to
But
like really get quarantined.
listen. You could have just bought more noodle broncs.
Nah, they eat them
In
like right away.
the park when the fish are asleep.
Nah, like I don't know, man. I just have to have the, I gotta keep them there. Just have them keep going. You know, they keep getting picked off one by one. You know, so they're not gonna end up doing anything. I just need to eradicate the problem and just be done with Aptasia.
and
They
what's
coming
the
back.
game plan?
Don't worry, bro. They coming back, Coral King. They're gonna come back. They always.
Yeah,
If you've been reefing for a long time, one thing you know is you're gonna get Aptasia. I don't give a damn
right.
how clean you clean your corals when it come in. It's just natural born in there, bro.
It just appears out of thin air, bro.
Yeah, but maybe when they come back, they's probably going. You gonna try to catch some
Hey,
of them out or no?
look, right here,
You gonna try to catch
this
some of the
little bit
new frogs
here.
out?
The whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would just want to grow my own because I have like a tank that's just filled with Aptasia up in my room. I might make that into like an Aptasia nudibranch farm. You know, just keep growing them in there.
If you
But
got
Different.
fish to
or
my Orlando to Atlanta, it's a shorter trip, like 2 hours.
Right.
never.
But,
We'll
but
hold
this
on.
like back to what Abu was showing. Like this is the only skeleton I've ever saved. This goalie was $6,000.
Shit, man. You
This
make
was the one from Aqua SD. I never got to see it. I was up in school, and then they shipped it to my house down here, back south, by accident.
Oh,
and then I had my parents put it in the tank, and then it died before I even got home to see it. So I never even got to see it in person. So I lost it before I even got to see it. I got it, came home, and it was already toasted.
What's the most expensive? I know the masked angelfish are the most expensive fish. Am I right?
no, the Anthys.
Which one?
Is it,
Which one's the most expensive fish?
the
Or most
most
expensive?
expensive is the masked angel, isn't it?
For one item, it's got to be the Antheus.
Really?
Yeah, for just one item.
Which
Like one
which
thing.
Antheus? The last one you got?
The big
That big.
The
circle.
big one. The huge one that looks like a orb.
Gotcha. What
Yeah,
did that? So what
I,
that go for?
I don't even ask him what's the name of them, bro. I just straight ask him how much was that. Every time he put, how much was this, bro?
Yeah, I know. It's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that
I'm
one was 20,
look,
20K.
But that's not the one that came from Japan, right?
you like them?
That came from Japan.
Oh
You
wow.
see my
20K.
How-
That's crazy.
Was
Now
that
the
fish? It was the first time they had showed it. It wasn't that fish, was it?
It had a Reef Builders article for like the first in sale in the U.S. So it was like the
really
first couple that came in the U.S. ever. So I'm probably the second. Like, I'm the only other person I know besides the guy in California who has this fish.
And right now you got it in a box in your
And
trunk.
yeah, in the car, just sitting right in here.
it's a movie. It's straight up movie. Hey, and my next question. So we know like the fish now, but what's the most expensive coral? Is it the your showpiece, your baby, your logo, or is there something else in the tank
Yeah.
that holds more value?
Let me think. Yeah, I think it's the one of my profile picture. That Cinerina was 7. This is the second most one, which was 6, and those are only 2.
That's
See,
it.
I didn't buy no corals that much, but I got corals that I brought that's worth that much now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't bought
Right.
$7,000. I think the most I spent on the piece was $3,000.
What was it? A torch?
Yeah, it called me.
Oh wow.
Ask me what's the most I spent.
100.
Oh man.
$275.
Wow.
$275.
Yeah, it's tough.
Listen, I just want to be super clear. Those guys that sell $500 corals got me fucked up.
Hey,
Can't do it. I can't.
hey, Bigfoot's Reef asked, did you get insurance and for the flight and the quarantine on the fish?
Nope. If they die, I mean, if they're dead in this box already, then that's
What?
it. It's
Man, that
done.
man scared,
Why
bro.
wouldn't you get insurance?
Because
It's
they
just
don't,
not insurance for. I don't know, man. It's not really an insurance
Of
for this
course.
kind of
Oh,
thing.
bro. I heard they don't insure live animals, bro.
of course.
You could put the insurance. They'll trick you to put the insurance on there, bro.
This is America. They want
God forbid, though, and that shit ain't happen.
Yeah, that's just like $200,000 worth of fish just in the car, and who knows what's happening to them right now.
Well, at least you got them like well packed by this guy, right?
Yeah. We were just there like all day, just oxygenating them, packing them,
You
and
guys know what the irony of all of this is, right?
This shit crazy. I'm still.
Here's the irony of all of it.
Listen, I'm still trying to let that shit
Hold
sink
on.
in my head.
This is the irony of all of it. They told him to get the V6. That's the irony of all of this.
Boy, Jazz gonna
Bro.
hold that in your head forever. You gonna hold
No,
that
I
that's,
over.
know you guys are.
but I think you should. I don't know. I think I would have just stayed with that Tasia.
All
Listen,
right.
you get them shits killing
All
$200.
right,
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Go. Show me.
Crank that up. Jazz, you got the art. He'll fool you right there. But if he pull up to you at the red light, you already gonna think that's an SRT.
I gotta put that on my Durango.
All right.
Lights.
Hey, Des, you're in good company. I'm
But
about
look how he
five
the
minutes
roof.
away from my bingo. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that started. I'm gonna separate it from this live so that way I can save it on my end. But feel free to join me if you'd like.
All right, go start your bingo.
Boo!
Yeah,
Bingo
bring your
night.
bingo.
All right, take it easy, boys.
Have a good night. Look at the stars on the roof.
Bubba. Look at his roof.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His shit is raw. That shit is raw. That
Hold
looks
on, let's see
great.
my wife.
No Foul says he's from Indonesia.
Howdy,
Have you ever
Indonesia.
seen Star from Indonesia?
Ever seen stars from
Oh, wait.
Indonesia?
Before I end the stream, Abu, I gotta show you one thing because you owe me $100. You and Chef Parko.
No, man. Yeah. Weren't serious, bro, because I would have paid.
No, 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 no. Now you can't. You can't change your mind now.
If it was for real, I'd buy it.
Look, the
That
lights are off.
taste
There's
all back
nothing.
there.
There's no Aptasia. There's nothing. In a month and a half, it's all gone.
Yeah, it looked good.
So now I'm gonna start adding some coral. I mean, it's been 2 months, so almost 2 months. So I'm ready to start putting some stuff in there.
Look, no frack work. I put them blacks was down. The adaptation gone from the what you call it.
Or what you could do is get a flight, send them to California.
For real?
You know, he also took like 5 fish on his lap on the plane with him. It's not just these fish in the back of the trunk. He took like 5 more in his lap, right on his duffel bag.
That's dope. All right, well, gentlemen, you guys have a great night,
Dude,
sir.
cuz.
I wish your fish all of the best luck. I think they'll make it to California no problem, and they're gonna come back to you with no problem. All the Aptasia will be gone.
Right. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot.
No, it's on a mission.
Great. All right, guys. Peace out, man.
Yes, have a great night, man.
Peace.